24. Yeah, we get a shield that's not particularly good and some crap.
We're here.
But yeah, like I said earlier, that was to be expected. That's why I generally like it that, you know, some games put like a little level thing on it. And this does that sometimes. I don't know why it only does it sometimes and not all the time. Seems like a weird something, but you know. But yeah, the boss monster was like 9 levels lower, I believe. Could be worse. We could have better armor, but yeah, we have about the best weapon we can possibly get. So yeah, he had a rough day. But yeah, I thought this was DLC, so that's why I waited as long as I did with it. Okay, quick this Skyholt so I can vendor. That doesn't look like Dragon EX? It does look like the Dragon EX. What are you talking about? I just used all the fancy materials.
Is this what war is like?
Well, yeah, the colors look different depending on what materials you use, right? So you got bloodstone, that's why it's red. And then, I don't know, the haft is dragon bone and shit like that. And for some reason that's gold. Actually, I can check this. Yep. Like, there's no way that Cassandra has a worse shield than this. Nah, she actually has basically the same shield, just like a better version of it. Rich Billy, yeah, Billy's doing alright for himself, you know?
Never been in one. Can't fight.
Me neither. I can.
All right, let's look at the journal. So that's the final. Well, that's the quest that we currently haven't done. Requisition. Deep roads we're still doing. Emerald Graves requisition. Empress de Lyon survey. Palomar we haven't been to yet. Actually, no, we have this Frostback. So yeah, requisition, it's fine, or survey. Then Frostback, yeah, we still have a lot of things to do there. That's a DLC area. Hinterlands, only a survey. Hissing Wastes, survey. Storm Coast, there we go. And then a requisition. Although I am missing a piece to this mosaic. There's a mosaic piece I'm missing. I'm gonna see if I missed it in the most obvious. This is behind a locked door, so I might have missed it because the door was locked. Let's have a look, shall we? But since you have to go in here, I feel like I probably would have found it. Yeah, we did. Because that's the locked room. We'll double check it. Maybe I didn't click it. Maybe I unlocked it and didn't click the mosaic. Although that'd be weird, right? Well, we might as well check. Alright, we definitely have it. Okay, good shit. I could probably just look up which one I'm missing. Aren't the mosaics in the... Alright, we need to go back to, whatchamacallit, Skyhold. I think I can just look at the mosaic on the wall and see which piece I'm missing. Yeah, we'll do it like that. This was my best guess, honestly. Because we have 11 out of 12 at this point, you know. Alright, let's go see which part we are missing. I think that might be all the mosaics as well, because I think I have all the other ones completed. No, that one is missing 2 bits. We're only missing 1 bit.
Your worship.
Does he tell me which one I'm missing? Wait.
Stone man, Inquisitor.
Another time.
Best of the vein, Inquisitor.
Though I think they're all inside, so... One over here as well, I think so maybe? Oh, not one in here. Alright. Oh.
What's on your mind?
I should go.
Try not to kill anyone without me.
What a murderous man. There we go, that's the one I'm looking for. So we're missing piece 10. I not unlock this area yet? We might not have unlocked this yet. Well, that explains why I don't have all the bits. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Hey, hop. Bump. The superb amulet of evasion, eh?
At your service. Inquisitor.
Um.
We've an interesting development, Inquisitor. A petition from citizens of Val Royal. They wish to know what Andraste said to you in the Fade.
They think she spoke to me?
Even Leliana can't trace the rumor's origin. It may be expedient to respond to those asking for Andraste's words.
It's not Andraste who saved me.
Few people outside Skyhold know it was Divine Justinia who delivered you from the Fade. You could attempt to tell Val Royal citizens the truth, though it may not be as inspiring as they hope.
Tell them the Inquisition's position is that the Divine saved me from the Fade, not Andraste.
Very well. Some of the devout will be discouraged, but it will placate the Chantry. I was hoping you'd be by. We've received letters from Archon Redanus of Tevinter and King Marcus of Nevada.
Okay.
For both monarchs to come to us is nearly unheard of.
Then the Inquisition's deeds have won their respect.
They'd never have contacted us otherwise. Archon Redanus requests that the Inquisition, as a neutral party, destroy a venatory cult on the Nevaran-Tevinter border. King Marcus asks the same, but demands we pledge allegiance to Nevara instead of Tevinter.
What course of action would you take if you were in my place?
Strained as their relationship with Orlais is, I would assist the Imperium. Their friendship is difficult to win, and Marcus is a fading power. Tevinter is the longer, richer gain.
What sort of man is the King of Navarra?
At this point, elderly. Many fear his health will soon fail him. Still, he is a Pentecast. Their dynasty is exceptionally strong in Navarra.
As a Pentecast, will Cassandra be upset if we don't help her relatives?
With all respect to Seeker Pentagast, her interest in politics is best described as thin.
Why is the ruler of Tevinter turning on the Venatori?
He has little reason to love them. Archon Redanus has rightly identified Corypheus as competition. Few monarchs relish a self-styled god showing up to claim their throne.
Tell me about Redanus.
Like most Tevinter rulers, he's heir to an ancient bloodline, politically shrewd, and a highly skilled mage. Rumor also claims he has an incredibly soft spot for cats.
Not the cats. Well, we already have enough Tevinter shit. You know, let's get Navarra.
Inform King Marcus the Inquisition will wipe the Venatori from his borders.
Very well. It will be done. A pleasure.
How do you stay so civil with everyone, Josephine?
Bonds of circumstance among the nobility are fickle. Civility is the only constant everyone admires. And I do deplore rudeness in those who know better.
Does it even become a strain sometimes?
Well, it can be trying. There is no shortage of self-regard among the nobility. The game can be wearying, discouraging, and extremely painful. But honestly, I'd miss meeting people. I've made the most fascinating friends.
One good thing about becoming Inquisitor has been meeting so many different people.
I'm pleased.
Making all the
I
friends.
imagine we appear a strange bunch to those outside our circle. Mages, Templars, Seekers, and an apostate elf are not often found working in harmony. Or at all.
Where were you raised, Josephine?
I was born in Antiva City, but when I turned 15, Mother declared I'd attend finishing school in Val Royeaux. But I bawled into her skirts the day I had to leave.
You must have missed her terribly.
I did. And she was most unsympathetic to my wailing. But my mother only wanted the best for me. Living in Orlais was an education in itself.
What did you learn at this finishing school in Val Royeaux?
Among other things, mathematics, rhetoric, poetry, history, logic, and a great deal of etiquette. I still remember Madame Beventir's switch on my knuckles when I forgot the basic tenets of Nevarin dining customs. For a dowager approaching her 80th year, she had quite the arm.
How did the younger you like Val Royeaux when you arrived?
Have you ever stepped into a new city and felt the buildings couldn't possibly be real? That was Val Royeaux to me. So beautifully foreign, I gaped at its spires for months.
Does Antiva City have nothing that compares to Val Royeaux?
Antiva City is a jewel among the capitals. But I did not appreciate that before I traveled. There are multitudes of places I'd like to see. Saharan, the Anderfels, whatever lies past the Amaranthine Ocean.
Who rules Antiva?
Officially, the Principality of Antiva is governed by His Majesty King Fugelno II.
Ah, Fulgenno, of course.
Antiva's merchant princes rule the country in everything but name. Quite loudly, I might add.
What sort of dealings did you have with these merchant families?
As ambassador, I attended Privy Council meetings in a mediatory capacity. May I just say, one has never heard an argument until they've sat in on 15 princes howling down each other's tariff suggestions.
That sounds more like a mob than a meeting.
It's all a part of life in Antiva. Our traditions value passion and romance. A certain exuberance of style.
Are you positive you're Antivan?
I can be most exuberant when it's called for. Just at the right moments, and in a proper fashion. Might we speak of something else?
What's the land like in Antiva?
The settled areas are quite lush. The vineyards run as far as the eye can see in some places.
Lush.
Antiva City, however, perches right up against the Rialto Bay. That's what I miss most. The sea crashing against the maze of the docks.
I have difficulty seeing you wandering around a trading port.
Everyone in Antiva City spends time by the ships, my lord. The finest restaurants and poets all make their habitation by the sea. The waterfronts never still. Lanterns are lit along the promenade no matter what the weather.
Are you ever homesick?
Occasionally. When a breeze stirs the trees in the garden, I sometimes pretend it's the sound of the surf. Do you know, I even miss those terrible squawking birds infesting the harbor. My youngest sister used to throw whole loaves of bread to the gulls. Silly thing.
You haven't really gone into detail about how you know Liliana.
We met... let me think. We met the last few years of my schooling, but we became friends after I became ambassador to Olay. It seems terrifyingly long ago now.
How exactly did you and Liliana reconnect in the Inquisition?
I discovered my family had been overcharging a merchant we traded with for months. Our name carries a great deal of trust in Antiva. I spent weeks arranging a string of favors as suitable recompense. Apparently satisfied, the merchant extended me an invitation to her estate. Liliana greeted me in place of the merchant.
I assume there was more to it than a strange way to say hello.
It was a test of sorts. Liliana claimed she needed someone of painful integrity for the Inquisition. I accepted, once she finally explained what it was.
Do you remain close?
Yes, but she's grown so much more distant than the outgoing woman I met in Val Royeaux. Liliana used to wander the Orlesian courts, singing the sweetest songs, charming the greatest wits. Now she collects secrets and takes risks that would make empires tremble. I worry, but she will not hear it.
Does Liliana confide in you?
She enjoys revisiting our more disastrous adventures. Liliana used to concoct the most ridiculous plans.
All the
Perhaps if you
plans.
ever see her with a twine ball, a measuring stick, and a handkerchief.
Tell me about the Montiliers.
Well, my parents are alive and in good health. They live in our estate in Antiva City. Of my 4 siblings, most attend to the running of the family vineyards. That reminds me, I must ask someone to make sure Yvette attends the spring reception at the palace. My youngest sister has no head for social engagements.
Why are you overseeing your siblings' social lives?
It's Antivan custom. After a certain age, the heir apparent runs the family's estates to prove they're worthy of succession. If you're unfit for the task, the heads of the house, usually one's parents, may decree a new heir.
What do these Antivan heads of the household do if they don't run it?
They work and provide guidance. I've taken advice from my parents. Well, mostly mother. Father's more of an artist. It's rather gauche, but we never can dissuade him from running his own salons. Between him and my siblings, mother is looking forward to my taking over the estate.
Between that and the Inquisition, when do you ever rest?
Delegation helps a great deal. But managing the estate is my duty. As much work as it is, I will not shirk it.
Is running your family's estate that important to you?
I'm responsible for their welfare. A Montilier never shuns their familial duty. Taxing as those duties can sometimes be.
Maybe your siblings could help lighten your burden.
You don't know them. But Lorien in charge, or Antoine, or Yvette? No, truly. It must be me.
All the siblings are useless.
Let's speak later.
Farewell.
Alright, good enough. Alright. Okay, so now we either go do that one quest that we can pick up at the war table, or we go into the deep roads. But I think the quest we pick up at the war table is already on the easy side as well, so... And I've done all other quests, so even if it supposedly fails some quests, we should still be alright, because we've done everything. We're coming on 16 to 19, I think we're alright.
With an illuvion, Corypheus could cross into the Fade in the flesh.
Indeed.
The Inquisitor can attest that these artifacts still work if one knows how to use them.
What happens when Corypheus enters the Fade?
Why, he will gain his heart's desire and take the power of a god. Or, and this is more likely, the lunatic will unleash forces that tear the world apart.
I won't allow it. I can't.
Indeed, should Corypheus succeed, do not doubt you would be first to feel his holy wrath.
Pardon me.
Is it
but
not unholy
does
rot?
this mean everything's lost unless we get to the Illuvian before him?
Corypheus has a head start, no matter how quickly our army moves.
We should gather our allies before we march.
Can we wait for them? We should send our spies ahead to the Arbor Wilds.
Without support from the soldiers, you'd lose half of them.
Then what should we do?
For starters, we don't let Corypheus worry us to death. Imagine how embarrassing that would be.
That's a good. Well said,
Josephine,
Billy.
have our allies send scouts to meet us in the wilds. Liliana, your fastest agents will join them. Together, we'll have enough spies to slow down Corypheus' army until Cullen's soldiers arrive.
Such confidence. But the Arbor Wilds are not so kind to visitors. Old elven magic lingers in those woods.
We'd be remiss to not take advantage of your knowledge, Lady Morgan. Please, lend us your expertise.
'Tis why I came here, although it is good to see its value recognized.
Any further instructions, Inquisitor?
I'm a proud Billy.
The Inquisition began as a handful of soldiers. Thanks to you, we're now a force that will topple a self-proclaimed god. I could ask for no finer counsel, no better guidance.
I speak for all of us when I answer. We could ask for no finer cause.
We'll hound Corypheus in the wilds before he can find the temple or this Illuvion.
Please don't call it an alluvion, because that's just weird. Time to bully some shit. Oh Jesus, the music, you guys. The music intensifies. What did she? Oh, she has toys. We're gonna make play of war. Also, why is this fucking cutscene in 480p? Oh wait, it's back up to 1080. It's fine, we're good. Oh, swords out, buns out. They're stabbing a map. Very serious. Look at that military campaign. That was very feisty. Where's Billy though? He's worth 1,000 of these boys.
Inquisitor,
How goes the battle, Captain?
the Red Templars fall beneath our blades, your worship. Commander Cullen says they're nearly finished. Our scouts saw Corypheus traveling towards an elven ruin to the north. We can clear you a path through his armies.
Do only what you must. We need enough people for a celebration when we get back to Skyhold.
We will not fail you, my lord, no matter what comes.
Billy can make his own
And trust
path,
they
don't
guide
worry.
you, Inquisitor.
I wonder, is it Andraste your soldiers invoke during battle, or does a more immediate name come to their lips?
Another way to let people down if I falter. Thank you for the reminder.
'Twas not I who raised an army of faithful to storm this land, Inquisitor. But I digress. If your scouts report accurately, I believe these ruins to be the Temple of Mathal.
Which is?
A place of worship out of elven legend. If Corypheus seeks it, then the Illuvian he covets lies within.
Ooh, boobies.
Let us hope we reach this temple before the entire forest is reduced to ash.
But boomies. Oh, everyone's here. Okay, but see, this is
Your
what...
faith in your commander is well placed, Ambassador.
Oh, the
Victory
Emperor's here.
is all but in sight.
With our
We are gladdened to see you, Harold. This day will be recalled for ages.
You would think they'd wear armor.
Privileged to witness the fulfillment of the Inquisition's purpose.
The sight of our Orlesian allies risking their lives here humbles me.
Your worthy cause would have friends, even if we did not win it. Men and women of
No, but just like a precaution. You never know that they do like an attack on the little camp, a sneak move, you know?
no less dear. With Orlais at your side, we will see you victorious against Corypheus. May you walk in the light.
Like, even in old battles, like kings and stuff that would never see battle, they would still wear armor during a battle.
This Illuvian lies in a temple nearby.
Barak, what are you doing?
The fighting will be next. Andraste, keep you safe.
Move everyone immediately if the fighting comes closer.
You may count on. Good luck.
Of course.
Like, you know, generals that were sitting way behind the line and had no intention of ever going into battle, they'd still wear armor. They wouldn't just stand around in their, you know, in their pajamas or whatever. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's like better to be wearing the armor and not need it than need the armor and not be wearing it. Like, you never know when the enemy might do like a little sneak move, you know? Maybe they have some sort of magics, especially in a world with magics, right? Why are they practicing against each other? Go murder the enemy. That's even better practice. I guess, you know, keeping in shape is not a bad thing, but still, it's good. There's enemies that you can stab. You don't even need to stab each other. That would be my rule. If I had a military encampment, like, everyone's dressed for battle, even if you don't need to be in battle ever. Like, what if they just have like a little sniper guy right here with, you know, like a bow, and he like plink, you know? If you have armor, you know, yeah, probably just plink off the armor and you're good. You know? Little fright, no worries. Wearing civilian clothes, you get arrowed in the face. Sometimes, sure. It all depends on, I think, how desperate the battle is. But in most battles, I'm pretty sure the king just sits in the back. And then maybe for glory, he will be like part of the final charge or something. You know, when the
soldiers aren't careful with their fires, they'll do Corypheus's work for him.
You know, when the battle's already over or something.
I wonder if Corypheus will show.
I hope you're right about this temple, Morrigan.
And it definitely will depend on the king.
Discomfort to you, Lavos?
It's mostly the people trying to cut our heads off that manage that.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, right? I feel like if you're gonna be near the battle, be ready to be part of it, even if you have no intention to be part of it, because you don't really control that. That's why I'm saying, like, if it's my encampment and I have to make the decisions, you know, if you want to be in the encampment, you're ready for battle, regardless of your role. Even if it's just, you know, so if you take a random arrow, that you don't just get murdered. Doesn't have to be full plate, you know. It could be some leather armor, you know. So. Should be a rule that leaders have to fight if they send people to fight.
As the sun renews itself, so must the faithful renew their love of the Maker. Your penance shall be a joy. Serve him with a heart of love unbound. Your struggle shall be a gift, for it redeems you in his sight.
The Inquisition brought you this struggle. Without men like you, it would fall.
The fight is justly entered, your worship. I was a pilgrim at Haven. I saw the wreckage.
The thing is with generals and kings, there's a good reason why they don't go into the battle, right? It's like they're the one orchestrating the battle and doing the tactics. They need to be alive, right? So it makes sense, but I also get why you say, like, hey, they should fight. If they send others to fight, they should fight as well. But it also makes sense that a general wouldn't be on the front lines. Like, I feel the thing that is on point, though, is that a general shouldn't be someone who hasn't been on the front lines. So they might not have been on the front lines in this battle that they are commanding, but maybe they, you know, like a battles before that or a war before that. That kind of thing. So that they at least have a notion of, you know, what a battle is like and the cost of battle. And that they can weigh their decisions accurately. But then, you know, you get the other problem again. So, like, on the one hand, you would want a general that studied, you know, tactics and whatnot. And then you would want him to have fought at some point. But then when does he learn the tactics? Do you waste time potentially learning all of this stuff to a person that, you know, will go into battle and immediately die, you know, potentially? Because then that's a bit of a waste of time. Or do you get them the battle experience first and then send them to school to learn how to be a general? to then maybe find out that they have, you know, that they're shit at being a general. But it's an annoying, you know, kind of. And then what about someone that's a tactical genius but has no, you know, is like a very frail person? So it's one of those, like, I think it's really case by case, like most things are, but because then, you know, you have a decision, right? If you're the soldier, would you rather have a general that fights beside you, but isn't the you know, he has the bravery to do that, but he's not a very good tactician. He's like a medium tactician. Or do you rather have a guy that's like a frail, that he's too frail to fight, but he has an excellent mind, and he can come up with tactics that make it so, you know, he has like 50% less losses than the other guy. Like he's this genius, you know, wizard of a tactician. Like, which one would you rather have as a general? I don't know if you would have faster peace talks, honestly. Because I think there's just as many like madmen that would want to be on that battlefield and would, you know, for glory and whatnot. Because those have existed as well, right? In both old and new wars, as people that would just lead charge after charge into battle on an absolutely hopeless mission in the hope to, you know, 20,000 people later complete it and get the glory of supposedly winning the fight.
Those were Grey Wardens. They must be the last of those enslaved in Adamant.
A most inglorious end. Still, if these puppet wardens show no mercy, neither can we.
Wardeny puppets. And then there's the whole thing, like, what if they kill your general, right? Massive, you know, confusion in the ranks. Maybe ends up with... well, maybe. Likely ends up with a lot more deaths on your side. Like, either your troops flee or they just attack without any kind of rhyme or reason to it. Either way, that's probably not the best, right?
The monsters are running.
I'm relatively sure Biden is a Vietnam vet. Aging is something you can't really do anything about. the argument of that is obviously should such a person be in charge, and clearly that answer is no, because he, you know, got out of the race for re-election and not all of that. So at least he finally, like, it took him a minute, but he finally realized it. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you change that, like, let's say you make that a rule, right? That the leader of an army has to fight with the army. You just get different leaders. You get these real militaristic leaders, because then you wouldn't want a smart leader, because you know that doesn't really matter. You don't want to, you know, like a cunning. Well, maybe to an extent, but most of all, you want a good warrior. Or those people could become empowered just because they're, you know, good at smashing a skull. Like, I get where you're coming from, but I don't think that's necessarily a solution. Because you do it to make war shorter, but you wouldn't make them shorter, because the leader that you would end up with would be a different kind of person than you have now.
We just attacked by Alva. This temple of metal is not deserted after all.
Perhaps these creatures are the reason few return from the...
I don't know about that. Like I said, what would you rather have? A fragile old man that's really good at tactics that can't come to the battle yourself, that has 50% less losses than a guy that stands in the fray with his men. But he's there. He just, you know, out of 1,000 people, he only brings 500 back. The other brings 800 back. Something like that. Which one would you rather have in charge of your army? Actually, no. Which one would you rather be the soldier under? Like I said, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's that cut and dry. Oh, that's what I'm saying. You would have different leaders. Your leaders wouldn't be, for the sake of it, like diplomats or politicians. You would get warrior leaders. If anything, you might get more wars and more battles. Just, you know, you would change leader more frequently because they'd fall in battle potentially. But suddenly it wouldn't matter how good of a fighter they are. So you would get very different leaders. And if you need to have good fighters as leaders, you probably end up with people that like fighting. Don't say that. Don't get me wrong, I dislike politicians as a general thing. But I don't think having, you know, like war-hungry generals as your leaders is gonna be better. There we go. Really getting it done. I think the biggest problem with any kind of leader thing that we have going on right now is that all our leaders are politicians and only a certain type of people become politicians. And sadly, that's not the kind of person you kind of want to lead you. I think that is some of the biggest problem. And even the people that don't start as that, like becoming a politician turns you into one of those people. Where it's all about having power, choosing sides. I follow the politics in the same way I follow cycling. Like, it's occasionally on the news and I hear it. Or I hear about it. I don't really do it because I'm interested. It kind of happened. Like, it's just random information that floats around me that I occasionally pick up. And the whole choosing a side that is inherently, you know, left and right, that nonsense, that is inherently part of politics is absolutely ridiculous. Like, in my opinion, a good politician needs to be neither. Like, a good person in power, let's call them a king, right? A king or a prime minister, whoever's in charge of the country, like leading the country, right? Would hear all the ideas and then be clever enough to pick the smart or the best ones without any kind of like concern about who these ideas came from, because it doesn't matter. If there's a good idea and it comes from the left, take it. If there's a good idea it comes from the right, take it. If it is a good idea and it comes from a bum under a bridge, take it. But they always get pushed in a certain way and forced to pick a side in these stupid extremes. And that's partially politics' problem, that's partially society's problem, because too many people think in those left and right, black and white kind of ways. So yeah, to me, politics is an exercise in futility. It's one of those things like you can't win it. It doesn't work. It's a flawed system, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm trying to not look at any of that anymore. Like, obviously, I still occasionally get like suggested stuff or on Twitter, or if I look at it occasionally, I will get stuff like that. But I'm trying to not look at it in general anymore. Like, there's too much things that, like, I don't need to follow it anymore. I've gotten the message. I'm good. Like. Like all of the oh, what happened? Anyway. Like everything I can read and see and like none of it makes a difference. Like politics annoy me because they're way too left, right, and it kind of then pulls into everything, because then you have people that are super left wing that have a certain view on the world, and others that are super right wing that have a certain view of the world. And then there's, you know, the whole racism and sexism and feminism and all the other isms like you constantly get bombarded with on those sites and on social media and then just everywhere. Like I don't care. I've never cared, but I'm just so tired of it. Like my thing is, I understand, right? I'm a white guy out of a Western country and I'm straight, so I'm the villain. I get it, right? That's basically the message that's been sent into the world over the last decade. I get it. I'm the bad guy. I don't need, you know, sympathy or whatever for that. If that's what it is, that is what it is. I don't care. It's perception. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. The thing is, I accept that and all of that, but at the same time, I don't need to know the latest reason why that's the thing. Like, I get it. I don't need to know the latest reason why I am evil. You know, this is fine. I just choose not to deal with it. Because it doesn't matter. Like, I could rage against the tide, but what does it matter? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you consider yourself a good guy or a bad guy. Or anything in between. It is what you're perceived as in a social climate. Like, obviously, in order to live with yourself, it matters. Don't get me wrong. But in a social climate, it doesn't matter if you're a good or a bad guy. It matters if people see you as a good or a bad guy. Because that's what you are. My thing is just like, I understand that. And I understand, but I also don't need to, they made that a generalization, like all men. Like there's, what, 10 million people, or 10 billion people? Let's say half of those are men. It's 5 billion men. Essentially, compared to how many bears you could run into, you're far safer running into a man. But their argument is that, yeah, there's some of these men that are evil. Yes, but you've generalized it to all men. And therefore we are the villains. if I made that same generalization, right? The worst person I've ever met was a woman. It's not even close, right? Like, if I was locked into a room with that woman, Stalin and Hitler, and had a gun with 2 bullets, I'd shoot her twice. Right? So if I made that generalization, not my half mom, my stepmom, yeah. So if I made that generalization, I would say like all women are evil, right? But no, I keep it on a case-by-case basis. The problem is that there's been this social movement that has globalized it. Like, some white guys are racists, so they fucking, you know, make it global. All white guys are racist. Some guys are, you know, scum. All guys are scum. So, at this point, you know, there's nothing you can do about that. It's perception. And it might change, it might not, we'll see. But there's not much you can do about it. You can get mad, but what does that help? You could say it's not true, but then you know, their argument is like, yeah, of course it's a generalization. It's like, well, why are you mad? If you don't, because then it's your fault that you didn't say anything to the people that are like, there's no winning. There's no winning. Like, every time you try to meet them in this quarrel, right? They'll just move the goalpost. They just move the goalpost. And the problem is that they have a point. Like, at the core of their problem, they have a point. It's just that they made it way too general, and it makes no more sense. It's all pushed to way too far extremes. And my thing is, the reason why I stopped following all of that is, like, I know what the perception is at this point. I don't need to know the latest reason you've tacked on top of it. I rather just, you know,
think to fight us, Master.
chill, stream, have some chats with fun people, and the rest of it can all go fuck itself.
Well of Sorrows.
Billy, you might want to intervene. Billy.
Be honored. Witness death at the hands of a new god.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think he trusted too much in his rocky thingamaboober. Although, it did kind of blow up Corypheus, so is he dead now? Yeah, we show up and everyone blew up. Hello. Game over, that was it. Corypheus is dead. Good job. Roll credits. Oh, what's this? Hey man, what's up? Oh, he ate a bad clam, you guys.
It cannot be.
Cross the bridge, now.
Run all you forests. Oh, magical door. Nice.
At last, Mathal's sanctum. Let us proceed before Corypheus interferes.
Hold on.
Hey, it's the
Corypheus
puppy.
mentioned a well of sorrows. I thought he was here for an alluvion.
I am uncertain of what he referred to.
Would they be the same? Could alluvion translate into well of sorrows?
No. It seems an alluvion is not the prize Corypheus seeks.
Mystery for Billy.
Yes, I was wrong. Does that please you? Whatever the Well of Sorrows might be, Corypheus seeks it, and thus you must keep it from his grasp.
Fair enough. When she has a point, she has a point.
Let's find this well before Corypheus's people do. I want to know how Corypheus returned to life. We saw him die.
And his life force passes on to any blighted creature, darkspawn, or Grey Warden.
So that's how the bastard survived, Hawk.
We'll find a way to stop Corypheus once we're done here.
'Tis strange.
I mean, yeah,
Archers
obviously,
possess
it's
the
Morrigan.
same
She's
ability,
forever
and
sus.
still, the Grey Wardens are able to slay them. Yet Corypheus.
So how was
walked
my
away.
puppy friend? She probably knows it all.
Do this.
I wouldn't be
Not
surprised.
Yes.
Are you certain Corypheus is using the power of the Blight to make himself immortal?
Perhaps you forget. I was in Ferelden during the Fifth Blight. I have seen a true archdemon rage. How Corypheus gained the power to send his soul into blighted bodies, that is the real question.
Well, answering that question, let us destroy Corypheus for good.
Perhaps. I would suggest first dealing with the well. If Corypheus obtains it, any chance of success could be lost.